He had already lost almost everything, but the moment he saw her trapped, bleeding, and calling his name in the darkness, the single dad knew one thing for certain. If he walked away now, he would never forgive himself. Even if saving her meant losing the only job keeping his child alive, Marcus Reed never imagined his life would narrow down to choices measured in heartbeats. Every morning he woke before dawn, quietly slipping out of bed so he wouldn't wake his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. He packed her lunch with careful precision, counting every slice of bread, every apple, every dollar. Being a single dad wasn't just a role, it was survival. His wife had passed 2 years earlier, and since then, Marcus lived on a fragile balance, one paycheck, one child, one mistake away from disaster. His job as a late-shift facilities supervisor at a downtown corporate building barely paid enough, but it was steady. His boss, Evelyn Hart, was known as cold, distant, and impossibly demanding. To Marcus, she was simply the woman who signed his checks, the woman whose expectations he could never fail. That night, a violent storm rolled in. The kind that rattled windows and turned streets into rivers. Marcus was finishing his rounds when the power went out. Emergency lights flickered on, casting long shadows through the stairwells. As he radioed security, he heard something that made his blood freeze. A scream. It echoed from the underground parking level, raw, terrified, unmistakable. Marcus ran. The elevator was down, so he took the stairs 2 at a time, lungs burning, heart pounding. When he reached the garage, headlights flashed erratically. A luxury sedan had skidded into a concrete pillar, its front crushed, smoke pouring from the hood, and inside, slumped against the steering wheel, was Evelyn Hart. She was conscious but injured, blood streaking her forehead, her leg pinned beneath twisted metal. Gasoline dripped onto the flooded floor. "Marcus," she whispered when she saw him. Her voice, usually sharp and commanding, was shaking. He didn't hesitate, ignoring protocol, ignoring safety rules, ignoring the voice in his head screaming about liability and consequences. Marcus waded through the water. Sparks flickered near the engine. One wrong move, and the entire garage could ignite. He wedged a metal bar under the crushed door, straining until his muscles screamed. The door gave way just enough. Carefully, painfully, he pulled Evelyn free as alarms wailed in the distance. The explosion came seconds later. They barely made it out before flames roared through the garage, heat chasing them up the ramp. Marcus shielded Evelyn with his own body as firefighters arrived, his arms blistered, his breath ragged. At the hospital, doctors rushed Evelyn into surgery. Marcus sat alone in the waiting room, soaked, shaking, staring at his burned hands. Only then did reality crash down. He had violated company policy, entered a restricted zone, ignored safety lockdown orders, risked millions in corporate liability. He imagined the email already being drafted, termination effective immediately. When his phone buzzed, it wasn't the hospital, it was a voicemail from the company's legal department requesting a statement. Marcus closed his eyes. He thought of Lily asleep at home, of rent due next week, of how close everything was to falling apart. Saving his boss might cost him the one thing he couldn't afford to lose. And he had no idea that this was only the beginning. Marcus expected to be fired. What he didn't expect was the knock on his door 3 weeks later, or the truth his boss was about to reveal that would change his daughter's future forever. Evelyn survived. The news came through a short company-wide email praising emergency responders and fortunate timing. Marcus's name wasn't mentioned, not once. 3 weeks passed. Marcus returned to work, quiet and invisible. His hands were still healing, bandaged beneath gloves. No one spoke about the garage. No one thanked him. And every day, he braced himself for dismissal. Then, one rainy evening, a black sedan pulled up outside his small apartment. A knock echoed through the hallway. When Marcus opened the door, Evelyn Hart stood there, no suit, no heels, just a simple coat. She looked different, softer, human. "I needed to see you somewhere real," she said. Inside, Lily peeked from behind Marcus's leg, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Evelyn knelt to her level, smiling gently. "This brave man is your dad?" she asked. Lily nodded proudly. They sat at the small kitchen table. Evelyn took a breath. "I owe you my life," she said plainly, "and I've spent weeks thinking about why you did what you did." Marcus shrugged. "You were in danger." "That's not why," Evelyn replied. "You knew the risks. You knew what it could cost you." Her voice cracked. "No one has ever done that for me." She revealed the truth. Marcus never knew that she had grown up alone, raised in foster homes, taught early that survival meant never depending on anyone. She had built her empire on control, not connection. And the night of the accident, she realized something terrifying. All the power in the world couldn't save her. Only compassion could. Evelyn slid a folder across the table. Inside was not a termination notice but a contract. A promotion, a full management position with benefits, flexible hours, and a salary that made Marcus's hands tremble. "I'm restructuring the company," she said. "Starting with how we treat people who show character when it matters most." She paused, then added softly, "And I'm funding a scholarship. For Lily. College. Anything she dreams of." Marcus couldn't speak. Tears blurred his vision. "I didn't save you for this," he whispered. "I know," Evelyn said. "That's why you deserve it." As she stood to leave, she turned back once more. "You didn't just save my life, Marcus. You reminded me how to live one." That night, Marcus tucked Lily into bed without worrying about tomorrow. For the first time in years, he realized something powerful. Sometimes, risking everything doesn't mean losing it all. Sometimes it means gaining more than you ever imagined. And the greatest reward for courage is the future it builds.